Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back, another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, December 1st. Happy Christmas season, which I know is Sam's favorite. And the Celtics are 2 games above 500 again. Big win against the Cavaliers, went 1-1 in their little back-to-back in Minnesota and Cleveland. And now they are heading back home for a very important week with a Wizards game sandwich in between. How you doing, Sam?
Doing good. Looking forward to the week. Big week. I said it on the post game yesterday. This, if they lose all three, is a team tank switch for me. I don't think they're going to lose all three. I think the Celtics have played some really good basketball lately. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Talk about rumors going around the team. They just signed a new player to the G League, so we'll take a look at that, and we'll go through your emails. We haven't gotten to look at those all week just because we were at games. Like, the schedule was weird. The holiday made it weird. And so we'll finally catch up on all that stuff. We'll go around the NBA and look at the latest in the standings, and then we'll do the rat list and get out of here. Should be a fun show. Make sure you stick around through all of it. Jack and I are here every day with new stuff. Full pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps morning after each game. Other videos in between. And pregame streams are live a half hour before each game. So come hang out. We're bringing in special guests every time for you guys. You don't want to miss it.
Yes, indeed. Let's start with the little trade piece. I feel like we're starting to ramp up into trade season. Obviously, December 15th is when a lot of players around the league become trade eligible. This isn't, I don't think, an actual report, or maybe there's a little bit of speculation or whatever in it, but Brian Robb, Mass Live, shout out B-Rob, did a mailbag recently and spoke about sort of, how the Celtics could potentially act during trade season and what their plans could potentially be. He was asked by, I'm trying to find the actual questions here. Alex L asked B-Rob, is it realistic to hope for a center who could help the Celtics contend for the start of the 26-27 season? What big man could the Celtics realistically pair with Tatum, Brown, White? Or is it more realistic to trade one of them to fill out the front court? And he speculated, he did a little tidbit on, this is probably the biggest conundrum. Seems evidence the Celtics could, test trade waters, etc. Said the contract of Simon / Hauser will be pivotal, for the Celtics to be able to acquire another center via trade due to salary matching. Simon's is an expiring deal, so the Celtics may elect to trade for someone with long-term money attached to keep that as a tradable asset heading into the offseason. However, achieving that and getting under the luxury tax this season make that a fine needle to thread for the brass. As far as realistic big men to keep an eye out for, look for anyone making under $25 million to fit within the team's budget / under the second apron for next season. So a little bit of everything in mixed in there. You've got Simons potentially being traded. You've got Hauser thrown in there, and you got some other stuff too. But yeah, some stuff going on there.
I just don't really know what to make of all of this, because I don't feel like the Celtics have a ton of leverage in this situation. I understand the desire to move Simons, and if you think that you can clear luxury tax space by doing it, it makes some sense. I'm not saying oh, they really just need to keep him because he's playing so well. No, that's not how I feel. But I just don't know what they're going to get. I think you have to be very careful with what kind of player you bring back with the money situation, because when you think about long-term money, which is the thing that just sticks out to me in this whole piece, you don't want somebody that you're like, man, really wish that he wasn't getting paid this much money. With the new CBA, we've seen how important it is, even with players like Drew Holiday and Porzingis, who are not that bad for the money that they're getting paid. Not that bad seems mean, but from a financial perspective, you look at those figures and you're like, maybe a little bit overpaid, right? With Holiday getting older, his 3 years, that is more of what stands out in that one. The salary this year is not too bad, but as he gets older, maybe it's worse. I don't know who is out there that if you're combining Simons and Hauser that you're bringing the center back is great. I don't know. And there's also the piece of this where I know you feel very strongly about Hauser as a championship level piece, and he's somebody that's important to winning, and his contract is good. He hasn't been good this year. And in my opinion, that makes it really difficult right now to be the time to be like, hey, let's trade him, because then you're kind of selling low. You're not capitalizing on the value. I know that front office people in the NBA don't think like that. They're not like, Hauser bad because he's shooting 30% from three or whatever it is this season, or at least over the last 10 games he's been cold. But like this season, I think he's still below average, but not putrid. They don't think, oh, he can never shoot the ball again. People know. So he's a little bit of a different style of trade piece. But I just don't know who's out there. Like, I don't want Anthony Davis. I don't want Sabonis. Those are the two big money guys that go around. Like, if there is a center that I'm the most intrigued by, it's like somebody, and I'm blinded by my dumbass bias, is Rob Williams. And even then, I'm like, I'd just rather have them sign him as a mid-level guy or whatever they would pay him in the summer. Like, they don't need to give up Sam Hauser to get Rob Williams back. If they wanted to get him, they could probably pay him next summer if they really believed in that.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't think trading Sam Hauser is a smart idea. I stand by that. I think you can't fully evaluate his shooting based on the season because the quality of his shots are so much worse because you don't have Jason Tatum. Like, inevitably, he's going to get worse shots because he doesn't have the same guy passing to him, right? Like, I don't think that's necessarily fair. For what it's worth, 24 games through last year, he was shooting 35% from three, and he ended the year 41. So, like, 20 game sample sizes are 20 game sample sizes. He shot 35% to start last season too. He's shooting 34% to start this year too, and he's never shot below 40%. I expect that to remain the same this year, or maybe it won't because he doesn't have the same quality. I don't think evaluating Sam Hauser's fit on a championship team based on this year is a fair assessment. However, if you're looking to improve that, that center spot, it might just have to be a casualty of, salary because you have Walsh, you have Shireman, you have Ugo, you have Josh Minot, none of which are even close to half the shooter Sam Hauser is, but they're playable wings. They can hit shots and they are good defenders and they are on nothing contracts. So that could potentially play a factor. You also look at the tidbit that B-Rob speculated of maybe they do want to get under that luxury tax. And if that's the case, they'd have to shed $12 million, which you'd almost have to trade Sam Hauser if you want to accomplish that goal while also keeping things, good for next year. Or it would be, we're going to trade Anfernee Simons' contract, get a guy who makes around $12 million. Then in the summer, we'll combine that with Hauser's 11 for 20 something. Like, there are ways around it. So theoretically, like, let's say you find a 3-team trade for Anfernee Simons where you shed 13 mil to get under the luxury tax this season. But then if you're going to hit that player and Hauser next year, are you going to be able to stay under the luxury tax because you need to be under it for 2 years? Like, that's where things get a little difficult. Like some players who are making, 13-ish mil this year and then are also under contract. Like you have Brandon Clark in Memphis, who we've talked about before, who is, I think, hurt. So it would be, you're muted. What do you say?
Always hurt.
Always hurt. That would be almost simply we're going to take the salary into it. You have Dorian Finney-Smith on a 4-year contract in Houston, so you could trade for that and then ship him out this summer. Like these are not players that I'm saying the Celtics should target for long-term help, but are the salaries they could use that they could also trade this summer alongside Hauser, right? Brandon Clark, Dorian Finney-Smith. You have a guy like Jared Vanderbilt in LA who is making 11.5 this year and 12.5 by the summer. You have Isaac Okoro in Chicago who's making 11 then 11.8, right? Like those are the types of contracts we're talking about. They would almost all have to be 3-team deals because there would have to be another team taking all the rest of that salary because most of those teams don't have the breathing room, right? You could take on a Terrence Mann, but that still doesn't get you under the luxury tax. He's got to I think it would save roughly 11 mil, not 12, because I think he makes 16, right? So like that would be one where you could probably do 1-for-1, or he makes 15.5. So Simons makes 27.6, so maybe that would get you just under. I don't know the exact numbers, but maybe that's something you explore. Like maybe that's something you do. You throw a couple seconds, you take Terrence Mann back and do that trade. And then this summer you would be left with like centers in the realm of $23-ish million, which Nick Claxton could potentially be an option that you go after. We talked about him before. But outside of that, it's like, who knows? Like you don't really know. It's a sign and trade for Vucevic. Like it gets difficult. If the Cavs want to shake it up, Jared Allen makes 28, but that'd probably bring you over luxury tax. It gets very complicated finding the centers and the pieces you want at the right margin, at the exact fine line to stay under the luxury tax and the second apron. Like it's going to be a complicated process.
Yeah, so if you did Simons for Mann, I think like it's 12.1 the difference, so it would work by like $14,000. It would get you underneath. But like, what are you? getting from that? Like, if you
You
are
get
trading Sam Hauser and Terrence Mann for somebody, like, who are you getting?
you attach picks. You'd have to attach picks, and it would be what? It would be Sam Hauser's. Then let me. I just want to check the contracts here. It would be Sam Hauser's 10.8 plus Terrence Mann's
15,
15.5. So that would be 26.3 ish. I mean, if you want to dream big, if the Clippers sell, you could try to get Zubac. Like that could be your dream. Like hopefully the Clippers don't want to play ball next year and they tank a little bit, but I don't know what the point in them doing that would be. Um, I don't really know. It like Jakob Poeltl making 19.5 on his player option next year before his contract extension kicks in. Like do the Raptors sell? But they're fine this year, so I don't know why they would do that, right? Nick Claxton, if you go back to the Nets and say, hey, like we'll give you Terrence Mann back if you give us Nick Claxton, then we attach a couple picks, right? Because it wouldn't make sense to do it this year if they want to get under that tax line. Wendell Carter makes 18 million, but that's not moving me. I don't know about you. Daniel
No.
Gafford makes 17, right? Like that could be
That's
the guy,
everybody's
I
favorite.
guess. I don't love the Daniel Gafford idea. It's fine. It just doesn't do too much for me. Like it's
My feeling
it's
on
like
this
kind of whatever.
is I'm just so stingy with the draft capital because the Celtics are in a rare position where, I mean, they're not OKC Thunder set up to be good. Like nobody is. But the Celtics are, when healthy, a competitive team in the conference. Like I feel like this first 20 games of the season should tell you if Jason Tatum is on this team, we're probably all talking about them as contenders a little bit more, considering like we didn't know going into the season would look like this. Like Nemi has been far better than anybody thought. His presence makes their front court much deeper than everybody thought it was going to be. Peyton Pritchard looks really, really good. I think Derek White has taken a step back, but just the production you're getting from this team and the unknown guys like Josh Minot, who isn't perfect. He has his ups and downs, but you could see him being a role player on a Tatum team. Like there are fits on this team. And if Jason Tatum comes back, then you are a team that's a contending team, and you also have all your own picks for the most part, except for whichever one they sent to the Spurs. And I know the picks aren't going to be great picks. That's not the point. The point is if you have your first round picks and you are, I don't really know what percentage or how many like X out of how many picks like you're going to actually hit on a player that you pick at that late in the first round. But you open the door to organically build the roster while paying fringe players not that much money. And right now in today's NBA, that is one of the more important things you can have.
I think that's how you lose championships with that mindset. I don't think you can afford to do that. If like think of the last X amount of titles and how many of them are like stocked with their own draft picks versus how many of them sold out because they wanted to win. The Thunder are the exception, not the rule. The Nuggets had no picks when they won. The Celtics managed to do it, but they traded how many first round picks to get there? They were lucky because they got the back in. They got one back in the Kristaps deal. They traded a first for Horford. They traded 2 for Drew, right? Like they had the other pieces in place and they managed to work around it. But the Nuggets gutted their draft capital to put together their core. The Bucks gutted their draft capital to put together their core, right? Like who else has won in recent years? The Raptors figured a way to get around it, but like the Pacers have traded picks to get better. The Cavs have traded picks to get better. The Timberwolves traded picks to get to the Eastern Conference Finals twice. Like it's so rare you become a competitive team without trading picks. And even the Celtics traded picks. They just happened to get picks elsewhere, so they didn't have to gut their own draft capital. And maybe that's a way to do it again. But that is so it's such a rarity that
people aren't stupid anymore either. Like it's not easy to
it's
just get
hard.
a bunch of draft picks. Wait, like people
And
are
I think
thinking
if you
like
don't,
me, where they're like,
if
I
you
don't
don't,
know.
if you don't trade picks, you rarely get anywhere, right? Like you have to have good development, draft good stars, and then also trade for those role players. And shit, man, even the Thunder, managed to do it. They were lucky. They just traded Giddey for Caruso. They didn't have to give up that pick. They developed Dort as an unrestricted or undrafted free agent. They drafted Joe. They stole Joe from the Sixers and developed him. They managed to develop Aaron Wiggins. They got their superstar while also getting a horde of picks because he wasn't a superstar when they traded for him. Like they're the exception. And I think if you go into the summer like saying, I don't know, like what do we do? Like let's just keep our picks and roll with Keita. I like Keita. I think he's been really good. I think not targeting a big or adding like a good depth piece is a surefire way to make the title chase infinitely harder. And I'm not saying the Celtics can't get out of the Eastern Conference. Like I do think if they keep this roster with Jason Tatum, they are competitive enough to beat anybody in the East. Like I think they could go to the finals with this roster plus Jason Tatum, right? Like I think they could beat the Cavs, I think they could beat the Pistons, beat the Knicks. I think they would be competitive. But if you want to put them in the best possible position, I think being scared to trade picks is dangerous. I just think that's a really dangerous mindset to have, and it's running a lot of risk when you could potentially like if you're telling me the option is to trade for Zubac and give up 2 firsts or keep this core, you trade for Zubac 10 times out of 10. It is just you like that is just an extra thing. Now it go down the line. Is it Claxton? Maybe you give up a first and some seconds and it's less. And like obviously there's that, line to draw in the sand, but like not trading for Zubac and those picks ending up being like 23, 24, like the whatever percent chance of hitting on that pick is not going to be as good as Ivica Zubac, or not going to be as good as what you could potentially get from a guy who could help you win a championship right now. And then by the time those players that you take with those picks are good, or you develop them into being good, because they're probably going to need some development because they're going to be 20 on, Jason Tatum's going to be what, 33, 34? Like you're gambling this window right now with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown being in their prime, who are like, I'm not saying they're old, but they're not young anymore. It's not like they're 23, 24 and you've got them forever. Like they're 28, 29. You're gambling with the next 5 years, which is like really when you have them to potentially win a championship. And that might even be pushing it.
The big man spot is a real hole. And your point there is valid. Like, Zubac is a different player than the rest, too. In fairness to that argument, I don't think you're wrong. I think the Celtics right now are fortunate because they have a little bit of a conveyor belt type thing set up where like you've got Baylor and you've got Jordan and you have Ugo, who all seem like they have some potential to be a rotation piece on a good team, right? And you can kind of like loop Minot in there depending on how you feel about him. They don't really have that at the center spot. But I think like those are their somewhat, it's not the same players, but like their version of the OKC guys, where like, and Hauser's another one that like they were able to develop. He wasn't always ready to go, but like over the last 3 seasons, he's come a long way and was a big piece in the 25 team. And of course, the championship team, he was a part of that too. It does take time. They currently have like the guys who are loading, and like the draft will help them reload that. But to your point, like if you feel great about whoever it is, it's different. But like there's nobody that we've really talked about besides Zubac that you've like, you're like, wow, what a great addition that guy would be. Like, what a great fit. Gives you so much. He can be like a guy you have defend.
I think Claxton's borderline. I think Claxton's a good player. I think I would
think
give
that's
up
fair
first
too.
and change for him. I
and
think
he's played on
good.
good teams before. Like he kind of gets it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard line to draw, and I think that's the nature of it. And for what it's worth, the reason OKC didn't have to worry about that is because they had an extra $30 million to pay Isaiah Hartenstein because their guys were all on rookie contracts. Like it's just it's tough to line things up as perfectly as that, and it's just kind of the nature of the beast, man. Like that's the nature of the NBA. You have to balance a risk with your whatever it is, and I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough place to be in, and the Celtics are gonna have to figure out how they want to do that, but. Anyways, before we continue, let me tell you guys about PrizePicks. PrizePicks, the best place to get real money sports action this football season, this basketball season, whatever season you're into. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. It's the holiday season. Speaking of seasons, the best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, and playoff pushes all happening at once. You and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, which games to watch, but there's one place where it feels good to be right, PrizePicks. You can use the new stacks feature over on PrizePicks, which means you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you're watching the football season and you're a Pats fan, Drake May, you can pick the more on passing yards, on rushing attempts, on passing attempts, on touchdowns, whatever it is, you can pick them up to 3 times in the same lineup. The same goes for Jaylen Brown or Peyton Pritchard, whoever you're watching during the Celtics games. New feature also available over on PrizePicks is early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. So make sure to keep an eye on there if you are not feeling so good about some of your later selections. Simple to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. And if you get your picks right, you could cash in. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Okay. Any final thoughts on that before we move on, or are you ready to go to the next thing?
We can move on. It's
All right.
just you have to be careful. That's all.
Yes, exactly. But the Maine Celtics have claimed Keon Johnson, who was waived by the Nets before the start of the season, was a starter for them in 56 games last year, played 79, I think the number was, high 70s at least. Now he'll join the Maine Celtics as a guy with 4 years of NBA experience, which I don't think means he's eligible for a 2-way contract, but nonetheless will be a vet up in Maine to help them this season.
Yeah, I mean, starter on a good Nets team. What a player. It's always good to see the Celtics kind of like taking shots on guys, though, in all seriousness. Like, maybe this is the kind of thing where he sticks around and is a part of the training camp roster. Like, maybe they see something there where it's like, let's develop you. Let's see what you have. See if our guys can work with you and get you kind of firing, because guard depth is like another question mark. I think RJ emailed us about it, like in the emails, little tease for you. So that'll be something we can kind of talk about there. But like, I think like a Ron Harper type guy is a good example of this, where they brought him in. He ended up in Detroit last season and played some time there, but ended up coming back and now is on a 2-way. And it seems like they really believe in him. So we'll have to see. It'll be something to monitor up in Maine. I'm sure our good friend Noah will have some updates on Keon as he plays up at the Expo.
Yeah. The Expo is fun, man. I love the Expo. Expo is such a fun place
cool
to
in there.
go watch basketball. I love the Expo a lot. Shout out. But yeah, Keon Johnson, NBA player. It's always fun when you see a guy who like played legitimate NBA minutes up in the G League. So we'll keep him on it. Keep an eye on it. But emails, reminders always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. Excuse me, that's hbtcpod@gmail.com. Have a lot today to go over since we haven't seen them in a while. 6 emails. So here you go. Philip, giving thanks. Fellas, happy Turkey Day. I woke up after the Detroit game feeling thankful, but I realized as much as the Celtics community members each have their guys they like and don't. Each of these young and unproven guys are all Brad's guys. Brad probably brought in some because he saw a high ceiling for them, others because they complemented their strategy, and yet others because they were a bargain for their price. I believe he saw in all of them potential to develop. He may be wrong about some, but given Brad's depth of understanding and Joe's relentless pursuit of improvement, I feel grateful. I know several of these unproven/young guys are going to be solid NBA players. Cheers to you, our awesome community, the team, and the front office. Happy Thanksgiving, Phil. Thank you for the email.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
But yeah, I mean, I think they've shown enough promise to be happy about some of them this year. It's clear that Brad and Joe and the front office saw enough to bring them on board, and we'll just have to see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I think like everybody that could have taken a little step forward has done it. All of our expectations have been kind of leapt over right now. There's still 60 games left, so a lot of time to disappoint everybody. But through 20 of them, guy like Jordan Walsh, guy like Ugo, they're all very promising. Baylor Shireman playing defense, making threes, creating off the dribble. Baylor's also not like a 20-year-old. He's 25, 26. So you're going to have to take the development as it comes, but I think everybody's got promise. It doesn't feel like he missed this year.
Hey, man, it's looking good. I'm excited. I think it's a very important strategy that they've done a good job with. So RJ says, what happens with Anfernee part 2? Happy Saturday, folks. I realize this might miss the Sunday mailbag, but such is life. I think the problem the Celtics are having with Anfernee Simon's game so far can be summed up briefly as the Oklahoma City Thunder. Because they won the ring last year, lots of teams are trying to ball pressure all the time idea, and that is impacting Simons. Not that he was going to be the second coming of Allen Iverson, but he isn't going to be able to get into the front court at full speed, which would help his offensive contributions. Maybe one solution is to have Keita Garza and Amari Williams partner with him in the backcourt where Simons inbounds and then gets the ball back so he can use the big as a screener to rub off his defender. Or if the defense brings more bodies, the big can look up the court for a release pass. Frankly, I'm surprised more teams haven't tried some variation of this against OKC wannabes. We'll see what happens in Minnesota later today. If JB is out in the season, need Anfernee to shoulder some of the scoring load. Well, be well, RJ, who still thinks the most likely Anfernee Simon trades involve sending Simons out to New Orleans, second-round pick for several years later, seconds, and a returning player that makes $15 million or less. Sending Simons out with the New Orleans second for several later year seconds and a returning player that makes $15 million or less, but with 2 years left of team control. Hello, Terrence Mann. Yeah, we went over that. That is a very plausible one. Yeah, I don't know. Anfernee Simons is such a confusing player on both ends, and I just don't really know what the answer is.
Oh, man. He just continues to be the most hilarious player because somehow he was really good for the Blazers, and he shows little
Was he?
flashes of that. He was good enough to get like this extension he's on.
He
You know
was
what I
good
mean?
like Zach LaVine was good, and you thought Zach LaVine was terrible.
No, I don't think that Anfernee Simons was like good over the last couple seasons. It was like good stats, bad team. But like at one point, like when he was still on the younger side, like he earned this extension. Like they did not just give him this for free. Like when he was still playing with Dame and CJ, there was something that they saw there that made them believe enough to be able to trade CJ. And you know, they were wrong, clearly. Like it didn't really work out where he was brunting the load. But like even somebody like Zach LaVine, you would expect them to be able to fit in and be able to like reap the rewards of playing with good players. And that just doesn't happen for Simons. Like somehow it doesn't work.
I don't know, man.
Like even you've said this in the past. Like if you put Zach LaVine on the Sixers and he's like the third option, you feel better about him.
Yeah, and I'd feel good paying him. Like, I also think Zach LaVine is a better player than Anfernee Simons.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I don't know, man. This just reeks of this guy scored a lot of points for our team, and we don't have a lot of guys who score a lot of points for our team. Let's just give him a lot of money, and that's like not really how it should work. But sometimes bad teams do that, and that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. But alas, we'll see what happens. I think I don't know if he'll be traded or not, but we'll wait and see. RJ, what happens with Anfernee part 3? Oh, yeah. After folks, another day, more questions about Anfernee Simons. If one of Anfernee's plus abilities is his speed, why did he spend so much time strolling it against Minnesota, especially in the minutes where he was being guarded by Conley? I just don't get it. C's had their chances to win the Minnesota game. Heck, subtract the one made 3-pointer the T-Wolves hit from the T-Wolves and give it to Boston, and it's a 1-point win. So I'm not as upset as the result. Wish it finished different, but I'm not upset. Great Nemi game. One of those days, someone's going to maybe try running plays for him. One of these days, I should say. Be well, RJ, who wants Amari Williams to get minutes, please. Yeah, again, Anfernee Simons, confusing basketball player, but shout out to Nemi, and I'd like to see Amari play too.
Yeah, let's like not even like try and jump the shark here. It's just one of these days, someone's gonna have to maybe pass to him when he's on the roll, when he's open, like flying towards the basket. Maybe somebody will give him or Amari or Luka, whoever is the big man on the floor, the ball, and it will do wonders for their pressure on the rim. Yeah, Anfernee is just perplexing. Like literally game to game, half to half, stint to stint. You're just like, oh, he's good. Oh, wait, why is he not able to impact the game? And it's been the biggest mystery, I think, of these 20 games. Like more so than anything. It's just like, why is this such an inconsistent part of the team?
I don't know. I don't know if I can. I don't know how to even begin to understand it anymore. So whatever. Phillips says parody. Fellas, I keep hearing this word parody when people are explaining the intentions of the CBA. The Oxford Dictionary says it means the state or condition of being equal. I say the new CBA has achieved greater parity in spending. There's clearly an issue with when one team in particular has $1 trillion to acquire players. I wouldn't say the CBA has achieved actual parity, though. There's clearly an issue when one team in particular has $1 trillion to acquire players. It's like the commoner said when we don't want a king and moved on. Excuse me. It's like the commoner said we don't want a king and moved the crown off the Clippers and put it on the Thunder, an already great team. In both cases, only really one team was massively favored by the rules, but the new CBA has shredded several non-rich teams too, unlike the old CBA. Also, in the new CBA, teams can't really bridge the gap unless they have cost-controlled picks. In the old CBA, teams could go, quote, all in financially to try to bridge the gap. Things will theoretically level out in time, but the Thunder have enough picks to make it to the next CBA and then if they roll some back. Parity, they say. Best, Phil. Yeah, it's a tough balance. I mean, for as much as I think this is a little bit frustrating, I also think the Thunder did a really fucking good job. Like, I think you just have to credit them for the way they set up the organization. Like, I don't think it matters what CBA would be in place right now. I think they just did a good job team building, and sucks for the rest of the league. But yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, the whole goal of being an NBA organization.
I think the interesting piece here is more so like they tried to make Phil makes a good point. Like they tried to make it so spending isn't really like a great way to go about everything. Like theoretically, you could just pay as much money as you wanted as long as you maintain bird rights and you could spend above all the little restrictive lines they had. Now, if you take advantage of that, you have to deal with all the restrictions that come with being like a second apron team. But as Phil points out, the real currency is draft picks. Now that you have in like good draft picks, like I know I talked about draft picks earlier in the show. I'm not trying to just like stick on that point, but the Thunder are more powerful than everyone because they have the real valuable piece of wealth, which is something that would actually make you want to give up your good players who are on good contracts when things aren't working for your team. You're not just going to be able to like, I don't know, if you're the Bucks and you're looking at trading Giannis, you're not going to be like, oh, well, Anthony Davis makes about the same money and he's supposed to be pretty good. So yeah, we'll swap it. It's like, no, that doesn't do anything. It doesn't move us forward. What moves us forward is the draft picks, and OKC has that. I hate parity. Parity is my least favorite word. We've heard it far too much in this decade when it comes to the NBA, and it ruined my favorite team. So Adam Silver can go kick rocks, and I can't, and CJ McCollum too. This ratification of the CBA can't come fast enough.
We'll see how long it takes. Thank you, Philip. Next one, Ted Grifkin says, Celtic shooting is painful to watch. Hi, Sam and Jack. I'm a several-year viewer of your content and enjoy your passion. My concern is the media has given up on complaining about their style of play, commitment to the three. They are not good enough three-point shooting team, IMO, to make that commitment. I've noticed that when they effort to take mid-range shots, they seem to be much more accurate. To his credit, I did hear Jack after the Timberwolves game talk about their commitment to the three. I like how, as a coach, I assume that means Joe. Yeah, Joe as a coach, but since he took over the team, the style of play has contributed to losing big leads many times, and it makes the game itself far too often painful to watch. Thanks for allowing me to vent, but I enjoy hearing your thoughts as well. Ted G from San Diego.
Thanks, Ted.
Thank you, Ted. I have no problem with threes. I think the threes are a product of good offense. I think they have won them a championship. I think they are a good, like, I don't know. I've never really had a problem with the threes. I think as long as they're coming within the flow of the offense in a good way, which I think they have been a lot this year. I'd like to see how many of the Celtics threes are wide open or open. But I also think they're doing a good job of mixing things up. For what it's worth, I think they're taking fewer threes than they have in the past couple of years because of those mid-range shots they're getting with Jalen and Peyton. But I don't know. I don't have a problem. I think they're a top 5 offense right now, anyway. So
yeah, Celtics are the third best offense in the NBA over the last 10. They are the
fourth best overall. Yeah,
fourth best three-point shooting team in that stretch too. And the rise of the three-point shot or the percentage has been a big part in their success. Like they're scoring a lot of points now. Derek White and Peyton Pritchard remembering that they know how to shoot threes, which is really awesome. What I'll say about the play style is when you look back and you think about the Knicks series last year and you're upset about it, like I'm still upset about it. It's kind of easy to blame it because like they didn't have a backup plan when things aren't going well, but it's hard to really have a backup plan to theoretically what should be a great basketball scheme, which is your floor spacing, your three-point shooters effectively act as an offensive line for the star player, right? So if Jason Tatum's a star, the shooters that you put around him block defenders from being able to get into the paint to help on defense because they're afraid to leave the shooters. But when the shooters don't do their job, then you can't attack the rim as much or get away with it, and they can really commit to hounding and helping. And that is why when the three-point shot goes cold, it's so frustrating because you're not really even able to switch out of it because now the defense has you where they want you. Like even last night we talked about, and you're doing the video on it, how the Celtics shut down the Cavs and they made things hard on Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. For them to do that, you mentioned, I think it was Tyrese Proctor was the guy, or Jalen Tyson. They were like, hey, go ahead, shoot them. Shoot all the threes you want. And they actually made them, but it still took the star players out of the game because the Celtics just committed to helping. So that is the beauty of having good floor spacing is unless those guys are reliable three-point shooters, it doesn't always work. And that's why this team has been up and down this season because it doesn't always work. But when it's the players like Pritchard and White who should be making threes, you feel better about the process, which is what Jack's talking about. And like personally, I don't think I've watched the Celtics game this year, and maybe it's just because my point of view or my opinions have changed on it, where I'm like, man, I just wish they would do something else. It's like, no, it's like, that was good. It's just like, you have to make the shots.
Yeah, it's tough. You have to make the shots. I do think they'll adjust as Tatum comes back and they have stuff to do like that way, like personnel, etc. Like we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't had a really big problem with the offense this year. I think they've been pretty good. They just were missing shots at the start of the year, and now they're not. And for what it's worth, I think as much of the, how much you think that is contributing to some of these blown leads. I think part of it is other teams are also taking and making a lot of threes as well. Like the Cavs game, the blown lead, Mitchell and Garland took and made ridiculously tough threes. The same thing with Anthony Edwards in the Wolves game. Like there's a balance to each of it. Like for as much as you think, like for as much as that is contributing to the blown leads, it is also what is contributing to them getting those leads in the first place. So it's like that's just kind of how the NBA works.
Also, in relation to the blown leads, like everybody blows leads in the NBA. It just happens. Like I hate a blown lead as much as the next person. Like Jack can tell you how many times I've come on this show after a loss, like where they blew a lead. And I'm just like, or even if they win, I'm just like, why can it never be easy? And oftentimes it's just part of the NBA. Like these players are all too good to be out of it for the entire game. And there's also a piece of this specific Celtics team where I do question Missoula's decision making when it comes to lineups, because the Timberwolves game in particular, it was really rough watching the fourth quarter in the beginning because Jalen and Derek were both off the floor, and Anfernee didn't give them enough to make it so you could afford to rest those guys. And that isn't always a Joe problem because the roster simply isn't deep enough to handle Jalen going to the bench at times. But that is also another factor in why the lead doesn't always hold.
Yeah, it's tough. And I mean, for as much as you want to roll with that, and for what it's worth, that was a 4-minute stretch before you put White and Brown on the court. Like part of the reason they got to that point is probably because they had Brown and White on the court enough to the point where they had to rest them at the same time for a few minutes. So it's just tough with this roster in particular. But
that's the benefit of having both Tatum and Brown, because then when you need to sit one, you can rely on the other.
Yeah. RJ says some simple numbers for the Peanut Gallery. Morning, folks. I love the HBTC family of commenters. So here's a little reminder of folks delivered with respect and care. In the 25-26 season, Cornette, 9 years of experience. Porzingis, 10 years of experience. Horford, 19 years of experience. Drew, 17 years of experience. By comparison, Garza, 5 years experience. Minot, 4 years experience. Walsh, 3 years experience. Kata, 5 years experience. Excuse me. Not to mention Sharman in his second season and Ugo in his rookie year, but they're being asked to deliver productive minutes, and they are. This team is younger, less experienced, and still learning how to play as a unit. They are delivering victories and near wins against good teams already. This is a fun team having a fun year. Let's enjoy them. Be well, RJ, who thinks the glass is half full and getting fuller. I agree. It's hard to win when your roster looks kind of like this. Like, I wonder where the Celtics rank on experience per player. I would have to imagine they're close to the bottom of the league.
That's a good question, because a lot of the guys that are asking to play real minutes just have watched games just like us for the last like 3 seasons. Like Luka Garza and Josh Minot had like the premium fan package where they mostly got really good seats to the games, but on occasion got to actually play in them. Now those guys are actually having to play minutes for the Celtics and play consistent roles. At least Minot. Garza's been on the lineup this week quite a bit, but it's a good point by RJ. Really agree with him, actually. I think this Celtics team has blown expectations out of the water. I saw some people on Twitter talking about this today. I think it was Trey. He had some good points where he was talking about like the people that want to tank and the people that might be shifting off the tank. And it's just like, in reality, none of us really wanted this team to be bad, because if this team was bad, it means there's a lot of work to do. But if the team's good, then it means they actually have some keepers, which ultimately made this season a can't lose, because the team was bad. You would get a free guy through the draft, presumably. But what they're finding now is the team actually might be good, and they might need to just make some fringe moves to make the roster more solid for when Tatum comes back. But they are further ahead of schedule than we all thought that they would be when free agency started, after Porzingis and Drew were traded and Luke Cornette left. And we all kind of assumed Horford was gone, but like, even if he stayed, like, he's not going to be around forever. So you already had to be thinking about moving on, or at least moving past him eventually, like having the next guy ready.
Yeah. It's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. Like, that's just kind of how it is. But Thank you. Email people. Appreciate y'all. We can move on now to the NBA section of the show. I'll pull up the standings here. We can see where teams are going around the league, up and down the standings, et cetera, et cetera. Top of the Eastern Conference still remains the Detroit Pistons, though they have lost a couple games since 16-4. Knicks have surged back up, won 4 straight, 13-6 up there. Raptors in third, Heat in fourth. Then you got the Hawks and the Magic who have climbed up out of the play-in. Cavs, Celtics, Sixers, Bulls is the play-in right now. Bulls are 9-10. They're the line of above to below 500. The Bucks are 2-8 in their last 10. Who could have thunk with Giannis missing some of those games? Hornets, Pacers, Nets, Wizards still ass.
I don't know where to start. I just think the Pistons are really awesome, so we'll continue to talk about them. Talked about it with Terp on the pregame. We all got the privilege of getting to see them play in person again with the surprise December 15th game being scheduled after the NBA Cup elimination. So that'll be at TD Garden. I don't know if we talked about it on the show yet. December 12th, they're against Milwaukee, and then the 15th they're at home against Detroit. So those are the 2 bonus games that come with being eliminated from the Cup. But regardless, they've been playing some good ball. They beat Miami over the weekend, which was a good win. Miami's a good team. And to win that game on the road handedly until they almost lost it. Like, just going back to Ted's email, the Pistons are another team. I always see their fan base complaining that they blow leads. It's just like, it's part of the game. But they keep winning games, which is good for him. The Knicks, sadly, winners of 4 straight. Makes me sad. I really hope that the Celtics can take care of business on Tuesday. It make me so happy. And Knicks' latest win was over the Raptors, by the way, which is a good win.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been playing well. Big test for the Celtics on Tuesday. Yeah, man, things are starting to shape out a little bit. You can see where the line is going to be. I think we both predicted the Celtics to be the 7 seed. I think they're going to be fighting for that 5, 6, 7, 8 range. Maybe down to 10, but
only 2 games out of 4 right now.
I know. I think they're playing fine basketball. Like, there's a very clear line between, the better teams and the worst teams. It is Celtics up. The top 8 have a positive point differential, and 9 and below have a negative point differential. It is a line in the sand. It was clear. It's clear as day. Celtics point differential has dipped off a little bit. They now have the 6th best in the Eastern Conference, but still a handedly point differential positive team. Also 7-3 in their last 10 for what it's worth. The Celtics are. So Western Conference, OKC are 20-1, which is ridiculous. They're incredible. They've won 12 in a row. They have a 15.5 positive point differential. The Lakers are 2. They're 15-4. Rockets in 3. Nuggets in 4. Spurs and Wolves, who have climbed up, rounding out that top 6. The Suns are still good, but they've lost 2 in a row. The Warriors are 11-10. They're a pretty 500-esque team right now. Grizzlies and Blazers are in the play-in. Grizzlies have won 3 in a row, but both are handedly below 500. Then you got the Jazz, Mavs, Clippers, Kings, and Pelicans. The Clippers, who are just tanking their ass off this year, unfortunately, for the rest of the league.
Yeah, the Clippers, what happened? Can't believe it. I think I might have had them like 4th or 5th when we did the preseason stuff. Really bad. Really, really bad relative to expectations. I just think we all kind of take for granted how good OKC is. Like 20-1 is crazy. Absolutely crazy start to the season. Literally a quarter of the way through, they've lost 1 time. They're on a 4-loss pace for the entire 24 or whatever the year is, 25, 26 season. It's sad because I think the Lakers really like each other and they have good chemistry, and that hurts my soul too. Like, I hate seeing LeBron and Luka be happy next to Austin Reeves. The middle of the West is, I don't really know what to think of it, because I feel in my heart that 7 through 15 in the West is worse. Or let's say the West plan is worse than the East plan. Like, I trust a lot of the East teams more than these West teams. Like, I thought these West teams would be bad aside from Golden State. Yet, I could see the Warriors being much better than they are. Phoenix has been hot, so, like, you can't really play with them. But there also feels like there's a definitive line in the sand when it comes to the West. Like, 1 through 8 good, 9 through 15 bad. Like, if the play-in tournament was a subjective thing and they had like a committee like the college football playoff where they had to just decide who gets in, who doesn't, there would only be 8 teams on each side right now that would make the playoffs. Well, maybe not in the East because Philly's like almost tied with the Celtics, but that's neither here nor there.
No, I know what you mean. There's a very clear demarcator line, whatever you want to call it, in both conferences. Bro, the Pelicans are terrible, and they've been terrible too. Like, they were awful last year. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence anymore. I think they're just bad. Like, they're just
my favorite
ass. They're
part
a really
about it,
bad
all
team.
of this is like we talked about the Clippers and Pelicans in particular as bad teams, and like they're not being bad on purpose. They don't have their picks. Like this is on accident. The Pelicans are 3-18 when they're actually trying to win games. That is pathetic, sad. The Clippers are 5-15. It's slightly less pathetic and sad because they just keep getting hurt. Still sad. They're just wasting really great uniforms and really great fans that make up the wall.
Yeah.
Did the tree company just absolutely cook them? Are they dead?
OKC is going to get to Bonza, bro.
No, don't say
that. It's going to be bad.
OKC has like a little curse on them, low key, with these picks, though. Like Topic got hurt last year, and now he had surgery this year, and Thomas Sorber got hurt too. Something to monitor.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, that's the NBA. Rat list, Sam, what do you
got? Rat list is you ever get like a we put the Thanksgiving sticker on the rat list. That's so funny. You ever get like a misleading text message?
Sure. Yeah.
So over the weekend, on Saturday, I was texting my girlfriend. We were talking about, so I don't know if I talked about the last time I did this, but like a month or two ago, I went into Trader Joe's and just cleaned them out of maple butter. Like we used the maple butter. I bought like 8 to 10 sticks of it at the time. She was home. Up here, we do not have any more maple butter in the stores. Like they have switched over. It's some different kind of butter. The maple butter is seasonal. So she's like, I'm going to Trader Joe's. I was like, great. Check for maple butter while you're home, because if they have it, we can clean them out, stock up like we're hibernating for the winter, and then we'll have it. So no more than like a couple minutes later, I get a text back in all caps. Guess what? And I said, oh, that's great news. Maple butter. And she's like, no, it's not maple butter. Sorry. She's like, I just got to listen to Christmas music for the first time. And then I said, if they don't have maple butter at the store, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Did they have maple butter?
Oh, yeah. We got like 25 sticks.
Jesus Christ. You can probably buy some on Amazon too anyways, right? Like
you can't. We tried before that you can't. It's funny you mentioned that. We looked it up and like we had it in the cart. We tried to check out and they were like, yeah, we can't deliver this to you like where you live. Like it's only a regional thing. Like you have to like get it from wherever it's from.
I see. Interesting. All right. Well, at least you got to stock up. That's a good thing.
I'll have to like post a picture of my maple butter.
Rat list, my sister and her friend, I was supposed to get lunch with them today, and I get a text at 11 this morning, 2 hours before we're supposed to go. Kara can't do lunch anymore. She forgot she had a dentist today. So
that is a bad thing to remember. Like
it sucks.
At least you can feel okay because she's not enjoying her time either. Like
it's true.
She has to go.
She's not having fun.
Like, it's not like she like, oh, I forgot. Like me and my friends are all going to a better place for lunch.
Yeah, going to a party or going to something else. Yeah, it's true. She's probably not having a lot of fun today.
First thing that came to my head was Six Flags. Like we're all going to Six Flags. I was like, I don't know why that was like the greatest thing that they could ever be doing. Riley's is Amazon. Amazon, we had ordered a package and it's like, hey, your package is here. And yesterday we were leaving. I had forgot my laptop charger somewhere, so I had to go pick it up. And I grabbed the package. I'm like, I'll just grab this now. And Ken was like, no, like leave it. I'm like, okay, we can get on the way back. Next time I check so our packages get like left in like a lobby and it's not like a populated area. Like it's not, shit does not get stolen is the point. But I go back and I look and it's not where I put it. And I was like, did someone steal our package? Like we literally ordered like protein bars. Like that's what it was from Amazon. Turns out Amazon just kind of like was feeling themselves and did a heat check and they just like moved it. Like they just put it in like one of the Amazon lockers that we have in our building. instead of just
Wait.
like
They sent the picture and then moved it?
they sent the picture. I tangibly picked it up and was about to just take it with me. And I was like, I'll get it on the way back. That's fine. And then I went to get it and it was gone. And they just were like, yeah, heat check, moving it to the locker instead.
That's ridiculous. Why? Why would they do that?
Yeah, I was like, our package got stolen. Like, can you imagine stealing someone's like protein bars? Like you open it up, like, ooh, I wonder what it is. Did I make out? Can I resell this? And it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's odd. That's very odd. I don't know how much else I have. I'll rat list. So I went to breakfast with my dad, Henry and Grace, the other day, and there's no wait list. You just kind of like wait, and you wait your turn. They'll call you later. It's like next party 2, next party 4 is fine. Wait. But for the first like 15 minutes, we're waiting outside. It is cold. Whatever, it's fine. We're waiting outside. We finally get into this like little cubby area where there's enough for like 2, maybe 3 groups of people. They're like, fine, we're waiting in there. We're in there. The next group behind us gets in there, and then another group comes in. And this lady holds the door open. Another guy comes in, and she's just standing there in the doorway, holding the door open. And we're all like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how are you misreading this situation? How can you possibly be misreading? And she's just standing there, and I'm about to say something. I'm about to be like, close fucking door. I'm about to be like kind of rude. I'm about to say some smart ass like bullshit to tell like, I'm like, hey, like, are you hot or something? Like, get the fuck out of the door. Like, can you leave? Like, stop. And my dad goes, do you want to come in? like he goes, would you like to come inside? And she goes, oh yeah, you guys want to close the door? And we're like, and my dad's like, yeah, that's kind of the point. Yeah, that's kind of what we would like to do right now. And I was just like, what the fuck are you like? How can that possibly be a situation you misread? You see a bunch of people huddled inside, and you're sitting there holding the door open, like just the waiting, like we are, but just like with the door being held. Like, what the fuck?
I think like I had a situation like that. I forget where I was going. And I think it was my friend Ray just held the door open and it was cold. And I was like, what? Why would you do that? And he's like, shit, if everybody else is cold, if I'm cold, everybody else is going to have to be cold too. And I was like, no, don't do that. That's terrible. I may be misplacing that, but
why didn't he come
inside? That's who
inside?
it was. No, like we weren't inside yet. Like we were waiting in the cold.
Oh.
And like the cutoff was the door. Like there were people already inside. I forget.
Yeah.
I cannot for the life of me remember what it was we were doing. But I just remember being so upset. I'm like, why would you do this? Stop. You're making us all look terrible. Like you're one of the worst people ever. Final rat list. It is a rat list court, Jack. I want your take on this because you're not somebody that's really engulfed in this. Are you familiar with what's going on with Lane Kiffin right now, the Ole Miss LSU?
Yes.
Okay.
At least a little bit. Yes, kind of. I know that he took this job at LSU. Ole Miss was like, we'll give you everything they're giving you. And he was still like, no, I'm going to LSU. Sorry. And then they were like, you can't finish the season with us. And he said, if you don't let me do that, I'm taking the entire offensive staff with me. And then he was basically like, all you fuckers get on the plane or else. Something like that's my brief knowledge.
Okay. It pretty much. So Lane Kiffin is the coach of Ole Miss. He's been on Ole Miss for a while. Ole Miss is going to make the playoff this year. And Lane Kiffin has been like the most desired head coach by all these teams that fired their coaches. Like LSU fired Brian Kelly, Massachusetts man, hate to see it. Florida fired Billy Napier, which was another potential landing spot for Lane Kiffin. So like it felt like he was going to leave. It didn't entirely feel like it was a guarantee that he would. But the way that this has all gone down now is so strange because I don't really understand what Ole Miss has to gain from this other than spite. Like, he doesn't want to stay. He wants to go to LSU. It's in the same conference. It's kind of sucky. You probably have your best team ever and a chance to compete for a national championship, and you're going to just punt on it out of spite. And, like, there's like a level of spite that I can respect there, but it's also stupidity. It's just like, you don't get this opportunity very often. You might as well just ride it out, see what you can do. They're afraid that he's going to like recruit their players while he's like confirmed to leave.
That's
and it's
what
like, what do you think? Like phones don't exist? Like if he wants, whoever, he can just contact them and be like, yo, come to LSU with me. Like, this is all so dumb.
I guess in theory, it's like you should try to cut off as much of that possible communication as you can.
Sure.
But I think it is a little like just go try to win, just like let it go out. But at the same time, I get them being like, "What the fuck? We gave you exactly everything they gave you, and you like." I get the anger, I get the frustration, but I do think there's a level. Yeah,
was so everybody knew this decision was supposed to come on Saturday. Ole Miss played Friday, won their rivalry game against Mississippi State, and ESPN had sent Marty Smith, a college football reporter, to the Ole Miss facility on Saturday to kind of like just do live updates. Like, decision was supposed to come out sometime during the day. We didn't know when it was supposed to happen. That man was there from like dawn to dusk, past dusk, like in deep into the night. Like all of the the noon games happened, the 3:30 games happened, the Celtics game happened. Jack and I did pregame and post. Then the Iron Bowl happened at night. And by the time the Iron Bowl happened, he was still just outside in the same hallway reporting all of nothing. And then it came out that Marty sent Lane Kiffin a text message asking for an update and did not get a response. Everybody on Twitter was like, "Rescue Marty, free Marty." He was just in the hallway the entire day.
He get it eventually?
And I mean, we just all found out what was happening. I don't think he broke the story. No.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
He was just
I got an
waiting.
ESPN update, so I thought maybe it was him.
It wasn't from him, though. It was from somebody else. But it's just incredible. Like, poor guy had to miss like the best college football day of the year, rivalry day. Tough.
Poor guy. That's all I really got. Ratless the Seahawks for not passing to JSN yesterday. Pissed me off. I'm down 15 going into Monday night. No, I'm down 15 going into Monday Night Football. My opponent has Brian Burns as their IDP, and I have Travion Henderson and Wan'Dale Robinson. So I'm still favored to win, but it's just a little bit more of an uphill battle than I wanted. So I wanted a nice, easy Monday night. Did not get it. JSN put up 3 points after averaging 15 and a half or whatever fantasy points for the entire first chunk of the season. And I picked up Max Brosmer just for fun. He threw 4 picks, and I dropped him before waivers even started. I didn't want him on my team.
Was that the dude on the Vikings?
Yeah. Yeah. He threw 4 picks. And I was just like, get off my team. UNH, shout out New England. But yeah, that's all I got.
Speaking of UNH, shout out Ryan Day. Big win over Michigan. Love to see a New England man come up big. Head coach of Ohio State.
Shout out indeed. That's all I got, though.
We'll wrap it up there. Big thanks to everybody who listened. You can subscribe to the channel. We're here every single day with new content. Full pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find Jack and I doing pregame live, half hour before every single tip-off. Should be a lot of fun. We have special guests for you every show, so don't miss it. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are there. So if you just want those, follow. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate it very much. Tell your friends. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Big shout out to everybody who did it today. Give us some great content. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Read them every single time we do the show. You can find us on socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook is just the name of the podcast. You can find all streams there. You can find updates about pregame there. Who's going to be on the shows on Twitter every time we do one. Jack's Twitter is Jack's Mon NBA's. YouTube is Jack's Mon NBA. He's putting out a new video later today as we're recording this. As you're hearing the pod, it's already out. Go check it out. Subscribe. Leave a like. You can follow me on Twitter at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe.